Peace, peace, family. How are you all? See, can I get my seat up anymore? Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Oh, can you get my charger? So we know it's kind of early in the morning, but I was just watching something, and you know how it is when you watch something and you become extremely passionate. And you become extremely passionate about it. Excuse my bloopers. My phone just fell. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. So I must have the light turned down on my phone, y'all. Give me 1 second. 1 second, y'all. I apologize. I'm back. My deepest apologies. Okay. So we've been up this morning and we've been talking. Well, I've been listening to, reading various Facebook posts and listening to various people have their own commentary on the protecting Black women and the protection of us, and do we as women feel protected? So I want to know, how do y'all feel about protection? What are your thoughts? And please note that we do the Face of Black Love. The Face of Black Love is separate from Copper Vibrations. We have strong opinions and strong views as an individual. So we told y'all over time, y'all will get to learn us. Y'all will get to hear some of our hi Nicole, we're in your city. We're in Columbia. I think you're in Columbia. Maybe it's somebody else I'm thinking of. But we're in Columbia, South Carolina right now. We'll be here for a couple of days. So y'all make sure y'all come in person. Show your support, turn up, because Charleston was very good to us. Orlando was just awesome and over the top to us. So let's see what Columbia got to offer, okay? While we're on this Copper tour. So far it's been amazing. And we've had the opportunity. So if you're on here and you are a Black woman, drop in the comments, do you feel protected as a Black woman? I need to know how you all feel, what your ideas are. In the meantime, I'm sitting here, I'm holding my new, this is called honeycomb calcite, but I'm holding it because I'm like extremely excited and extremely excited to talk about this. Okay, Nicole, we'll get with you tomorrow. Hi, Ebony. Ebony, are you near Columbia? I don't know, but we're in Columbia, South Carolina. So if people want to pull up, we got all the crystals here. We got all of that. But beyond that, it's not about crystals right this moment. Okay. So there was an incident that happened in the McDonald's, and I'm sure everybody saw it. Everybody had opinions about, what exactly take place. So yeah, we're here. We're in Columbia. We're at the Hilton Garden Inn. I think we're in North Columbia. Are we in North Columbia, babe? Yeah, we're in one of these. We at the Hilton Garden.
We're the furthest out from Charlotte. So whatever side.
We're not from downtown. I think it said we're like 9 miles from city center.
We far out.
So I didn't even know Columbia was that big.
Oh yeah, it's 2 sides.
But okay, y'all get me sidetracked. So the woman was assaulted, and everybody had opinions about whether, the guy should have jumped in, or whether, they should have mind their business or whatever. Peace, Zach.
Peace.
So, I feel, number one, that they should have jumped in and protected this young woman. That this problem should have been broken up immediately. There was multiple people around her. If you quickly assess the situation with any level of intelligence or any level of basic understanding, you would have known that white guy could have easily been restrained, taken down, and threw out of the restaurant. That's number one. So that could have been eliminated out the gate. But that led a conversation to CK and I talking about, does every black man have the responsibility to jump in and protect every black woman that he sees in an altercation? My answer is no. My answer is everybody's not qualified to intervene. Just because it is a body, yes, that man was wrong on so many levels, I would have jumped in to help her. Exactly, Zach. Exactly. And that situation, you could quickly look at it. I mean, he was frail. He wasn't really, it would have been nothing to take him down and put him out.
Do it matter their size?
No. I'm just saying.
What if he was a diesel white man?
I mean, you still got to jump in. But what I'm saying, I don't care if he was the biggest giant. It still had to be jumped in. But I'm saying that's what makes it even worse. The fact that they didn't jump in was he was a little man who could have easily been picked up and thrown out the door. Period. And it picked up. No woman deserves to be hit or anyone tried to access. Yes. And so he could have easily been picked up by all the men that was surrounding her, eliminated, and tossed out the door, and never had to deal with him or see him again. If it's white against melanin, white should get that work, in my opinion. Yes, I agree. But what about black? What about melanin on melanin? The manager was wrong. I would have escorted him out immediately. Yes, I feel like the manager should have escorted him out immediately. The manager should not have still treated him like a customer. But you could tell the manager had a lot of training. So, yes, I fault the manager because he allowed that training to override his instinct, his natural human instinct. But this is what happens when we are trained and conditioned by other people. So his training is the customer's always right. Take the customer. I don't want to be wrong. You're not supposed to be wrong. Don't let the customer call. Don't let it be don't let it be a situation. And so the manager was just still stuck in that training like a zombie. You can see him. He was like a zombie. It wasn't that he didn't care about her or didn't care about this man. He was just a freaking zombie. He was stuck on his training. The training says execute, customer first, customer's always right. And so that's what he did. But I'm not necessarily here to talk about that because this show is called The Face of Black Love. And so what I want to talk about is how do CK's over here unpacking stones. How do we, so on the particular thing that I was watching, it was actually a new Black Wall Street with Laban King, and I like watching him from time to time. There were people on there who was getting upset because they said that black women, a male came on there and said black women need to learn to identify their protection wherever they going. And they were saying, oh, no, that's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I sat there and thought, like, actually, that's kind of intelligent. You know what I mean? Actually, no matter where you are, you need to identify two things. And this is what I always identify no matter where I am. Who's the weakest person in the room and who's the strongest person in the room. Those are the two things you quickly assess within any room or within any area that you're in. You first want to know who's the weakest and who's the strongest for various different reasons.
Also assess your exits. Assess how do you get yourself out of a situation. I feel for that young lady because we as black people don't have the proper training. Why? Because we are emotionally led. We are an emotional people, and I'm not blaming, because this is not blaming. She don't deserve what happened to her. I'm just saying, in the event any one of you all are in this particular circumstances, here are some things you can do to protect yourself, since we feel like there's no protection out there. Number one, when you see the situation becoming escalated, as a woman, take a step back. Never be within arm's reach of anybody for them to just grab you. Never take it for granted Never take it for granted that you can or are big enough to defend yourself against a man. Step back, stay without arm's reach. If he gonna grab you, he gonna have to lunge and grab you. Okay, to say what, I don't care what it is. It don't got nothing to do with you being scared. We're talking about intelligence right now. We're talking about rising above emotions into the thinking of God. And God thinks war. He thinks strategy. He thinks how to defend and protect himself. So just as we feel like there may be a weakness or a shortage on black men who are there to protect us, which is rightfully so, we have to learn a strategy on how to protect ourselves. Number 2, if there is available protection around and you're secure in that protection, let them handle it. I would have easily been like, hey, yo, get your people. Get your people up out of here. We ain't got time for the shenanigans today. Get your people. Because I already know with me it's 0 to 100 real quick. See, I can't stop myself once I get started. Once I get started, there's no stopping. Once I'm already in the point of red, and the way she was wailing on his head, there would have been no stop. I wouldn't have stopped until he was down. I would have been all over the counter and all over everywhere. That's not absolutely correct, because we can avoid a lot of these situations by just using our intelligence. There's a shortage. They locked them up and killed them. That's the only reason we are warriors by nature. Our own men don't respect us.
I got something to say.
Well, you got to come over here. You can't say from the background.
Peace, and the first chakra is
the root.
Is the root, the red chakra.
Peace in the root.
So the root is
security. Survival. Animal instinct.
Yes. So now on, I'm not going to just say peace. I'm trying to say peace and something of some sort, something with some substance. But this right here is not our business page. So we get a chance to voice our personal opinions on it. If you don't like what we say, you don't have to watch this. You can always come on our business page and just get business. But what I have to say is this. The sad truth is, a white woman's life in America is worth a lot. And when I say that is, if a black man kills a white woman, we know we going under the jail. We know we probably not going to make it to jail. If a white girl come up missing, America shuts down to look for her. If a black woman come up missing, or if something happens to a black woman, it's not the same consequence. So therefore, her life in this society, a white woman's life, is worth more, far as time you get for prison, the reality of what could happen to you. And this is backed by
facts.
It's backed by blood. Mm-hmm. It's not backed by opinion. It's not backed by marching. It's not backed by people upset, because people get upset every day. But if something happens to a white woman, it will be some consequences. It will be blood. And it always have been. You whistle at a white woman at one time in our history, in American history, and you got blood. You got murdered outright. So therefore, it was that right there created an energy of value for the white woman. And if you do something to a black woman, it's not answered. And the sad truth is, even a black boy could be outright murdered. And the answer is, there's no answer. There's no answer for it. There's no real consequence. So therefore, in the reality of people, it's not enough value. So therefore, a white man could walk inside of McDonald's and snatch the hell out of a black woman. That black woman, though, she got those blows in, though. I like that, though. She was wailing on him. But in the eyes of everybody, they didn't come. It wasn't no response. It wasn't no...
It was like, no bloodshed.
It wasn't no bloodshed. It really wasn't a real response. They allowed... My wife read the whole article. They allowed this white man to leave and come back in and even kick somebody. They didn't catch that on video. But he caused more damage.
He comes
now,
back
let's
in and
switch
kicks somebody in the stomach.
Let's switch it. Let's say that was a black man and he snatched up a white woman. the reality was they probably would have knocked
The crazy
him out.
part
They probably would have
is black
stomped him.
men would have jumped in to defend those same black men that was holding that black woman. Because see, we as black women have put ourselves into a position of strength. And rightfully so, because we had to defend ourselves. So we immediately don't feel like in any situation that the black man is right there to protect us. So we jump in and feel like we have to avenge ourselves. So usually when black men, what I'm thinking and what from my understanding is when black men look at black women, they feel like she got it.
To a certain degree, yeah.
Like, yeah, she welling on his head like she got it, she
She
good.
had it though. But I mean,
And then-
it's a sad reality because there's a lack of you gotta make yourself feel secure. You have to make if somebody else ain't doing it, somebody ain't paying your rent, you end up paying it yourself. Either that or be homeless. So it's natural. It's quite natural.
Yeah, self-preservation is the first law of nature.
A lot of people try to say it's unnatural for the woman to do this. No, it's natural when a man is not doing it. It's natural.
It's natural for every creature, every living thing within nature to preserve itself.
Yes.
That's plants. That goes for insects, animals, and human beings. So self-preservation is the first law of nature. So therefore, if there's a lack, we're gonna by nature try to fill that lack. And so a conditioning has to happen, and evidence. This has to be backed up by faith-based evidence. And the thing about this is, and I hear black men say this a lot, is can't nobody protect y'all. Y'all don't want no protection. Blah, 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 blah. Y'all try to take control. Y'all want to wear the pants. Y'all want to do this. They want to do this. But black men are not willing to change the level of data that we have to pull from to say that it can be trusted. One of the reasons why I trust my husband is because we're almost 4 years into data, and there's still levels where I have to grow in my level of trust, but I have enough data to go back on and say, yeah, you probably overreacting in this CQ.
Listen.
Because CK made his word bond for the last 3.5 years.
See, and that's why the white woman's life is valuable in this society. It's because it's data, it's things backed up. We know, black people know, if something happens to a white girl, America will shut down and figure it out and do all the extra stuff. We know that. And what we need to do, I'm not saying that we need to go kill people, but what we need to do is we need to make our women valuable with data. So that white man that grabbed that woman, and he go to prison and somebody's already in there for life and ain't never coming out. If he get his hands on them and make them feel it, and then that goes out into the community like, yeah, somebody grabbed a black woman, and even though they ain't react at that moment, it got dealt with.
Prison, he got that ass
It got
served.
dealt with. If information like that start to come out, something happens to us, and then it gets dealt with accordingly and also fairly, something that's on the same lines as the crime. Justice, because one of our arguments of black people is we don't get justice.
No justice, no peace. We marching.
We claim that. But if the reality is we get justice and we make justice, see, white people don't react the same. Something happens to them, they get their justice. Let the government come on their land and talk about we taking your land. They will crew up with guns and they will back the government down. They will fight and die on their land because they believe it's theirs. Ain't nothing, you ain't taking it. And it's backed by, it will be backed by their blood.
Backed by centuries of evidence.
Yes, and that's real, and that's
America
respectable.
came about because they was trying to get free from the queen and the king,
Yeah.
and they went to war.
Yeah,
they went to war.
And if you study the history, they didn't even have enough to win. They ain't have enough finances. They ain't have enough guns, gunpowder, none of that, and they
had
still
whole
won.
England back, and then with all that money, warships, everything,
And they
they
won.
still went to war and they won.
But that lets you know, like, some things you gotta go to war for.
It's an energy. It is a energy,
Yes.
and it's a certain level, and black people have to start putting out this energy. Yes, we work with metaphysics. Yes, we work with crystals, but we have to say that there's going to be a consequence if you deal with mind.
It will be.
And it
amongst
will
me
be.
and my wife.
And that's how we
if
feel.
something happens to my wife and I'm not around, I will have to retaliate after the fact, but it will be some blood.
Yes.
And if something happens to me, I already know my wife is on it.
Gonna get it. I'm gonna get it when they talk to you sideways. We ain't even gonna get to the point of assault.
So, but we walk with that energy. Something happened to my children, and they was in the right. Let Trayvon Martin happen to my son. But it's over. It's not going.
And we also walk.
It's going to be blood on the other side. See, we're too much victims. We need to not just be victims. You could get hit, but do you hit back? See, a victim just get hit. You was victimized and in sorrow and all that. No, I don't operate in that energy. If something is it's an energy flow. What my wife says, will you pitch the
tent, that's where we're gonna have a circus.
Yes, and black people need to adapt that. Like us as a people, we need to put value on our women. We need to put value on our children. We need to put value on our men. We need to carry ourselves like we're worth too much to let anybody come and take our life. Not even each other.
Right.
No black people can't take my life.
Right.
Can't take my wife's. Can't take. No, you cannot have this.
You can't have what you did not give. If you did not give me life, you cannot take my life. Okay, so therefore, there's a major consequence, and there's a level of protection we have to step up to. Now, on the flip side of the coin, talking about when we first got married, many of you all know that we married quickly.
3 weeks.
And this is about choosing a mate, and we have to be more intelligent and more scientific with choosing our mate. And scientific ain't meaning breaking shit down and talking that mumbo jumbo. When I'm talking about being scientific, I'm talking about being intelligent, having a couple of experiments, discovering the outcome. You may have a hypothesis at the beginning. I think this experiment gonna go like this, and then you actually carry out the experiment, and then you got data to say this is a good fit. This is why. So I remember when I was getting married to CK, and I hear the cry of black women who say there's a shortage of good men out here. You know, they're either locked up or what's the other cry? Oh, the ones who are good have left us for other races. And then I said, how do we evaluate good? Because in our mind right now, on the conditioning of our families, in the condition of our social circles, it tells you that this man has to have a professional business. He got to have a BMW. He got to own his own. He's got to speak intelligent. He's got to, be on the highest level. He got to be a scholar, or he got to be able to break things down or do this or do that. And those things are preferences, but those do not determine whether someone is inherently good.
So what makes him good?
What makes him good is different for different people. What made my husband good for me was the way he opened his life up to me, and there were no secrets. The way he exposed everything for me. I'm a root chakra person. My root chakra has to be secure. All my life, I've grown up in that root chakra place. Security, survival, my basic necessities, food, clothing, shelter, feeling secure, feeling like I can protect myself, feeling like there's no secret skeleton that's coming out the closet to get me, that I got to battle with this zombie. You know what I mean? None of that. So my husband quickly in the beginning eliminated that fear, that instability in my root chakra. So I was able to say, okay, this is a good man. Once I realized it was something good, I pulled it close and I kept my mouth closed. Why? Because a lot of people, if I would have brought him out to the forefront of my circles, they would have picked him apart. Oh, he's not attractive, or they would have said he not, because everybody want tall, dark, and handsome.
I'm attractive.
Yeah, you are attractive, but I'm saying they would have said that at the time because you ain't look like you look now. So they would have said at the time, people will pick apart something as simple as your mate's shoes.
And they probably look real ugly talking about
I know.
somebody not attractive.
I know. And then people would have said, he doesn't speak intelligently enough. or you know, they would have came up with all sorts of things. Look at his family. His family got mental health issues. You gonna be dealing with mental health issues.
They did say
Yeah, but that was after the fact. That was after the fact. We had already got married. But and so people would have threw all sorts of stuff in the mix. You know, they were like, "Oh, you marrying too quickly. That's too fast. Don't do this. Don't do that." And I would have missed something that was very, very good for me. Why? Because I think about all of these women whom are out here, and that's not to say that anything can't happen to me, because we're none of us are invincible. But I've decreased my chances to at least a 15 or a 10% chance of something happening to me. Why? Because I'm always covered in his protection. 24/7. If I go to the grocery store, he's there. If I'm at the drugstore, he's there. The gas station, he's there. If I'm in the hotel room, he's there. If I'm over my mama house, he's there. If I'm wherever, we move together in a unit, which increases our chances at a time like this. Some people have told us, "Oh, y'all around each other too much." Oh, they'll try to break you down with y'all codependent. People try to break down your psyche and tell you all sorts of things. But that's the problem. People are not intelligent and they don't understand the time. This is not the time, period, in life to be alone. This is the time to settle on a good choice. Settle on a good choice, be right in your actions, and make moves together to restructure your family, to restructure your finances, to restructure the way that you go to war. This is not the time to be trying to pick apart and break apart every little thing. Go quickly to the heart and to the root of the man or woman. Go quickly to the heart or the root. Don't let these little inconsistencies about, you believe this and I believe that, tear you from making a good choice, having a good bond, a good layer of protection over you. When your mind is made up and you're settled and you actually have data, personal data from personal experiments that you have put forth to know that this is a good choice, and you have the intelligence and you're in your right mind enough to make a good choice. Now, I didn't say that little part before, but I was in my right mind to make a good choice too. I wasn't with 5 different people and trying to juggle them all. I wasn't over here juicing this one for money and got this one for the sex and this one for trying to juggle all these different men and saying, I don't know which one to choose. I don't know what to choose. You can't choose because your appetite's so big. You got too many choices.
Yeah, one person asked us for advice. And she was like, she got like 3 different men that want to marry her. And she didn't know which one to choose. And I was like, your issue is you got 3 different men that want to marry you. That's sad.
That's too many choices.
That's messed up.
We already are not a good decision-making people. And to throw more choices in the mix, you really can't make a decision.
You shouldn't have that many people after you at one time. You shouldn't be dealing with that many. If you have an issue. It's not even them. You have an issue that you need to deal with. And we basically told her that, and she cut off all of them but one, and now she's happy. Mm-hmm. And just having multiple people you're juggling is stressful. It could send you down a
Where
dark
y'all
path.
at? Y'all quiet today. Y'all was pumped up when we was talking earlier. Everybody done got quiet.
They quiet.
But yeah, so settle down to a good choice. Eliminate some of the outside experiences. You can't help but to go off data. Data doesn't lie. Data is science. It's the science of a thing. Science, mathematics of a thing. You can look at it as numbers. If you're a number person, you can look at it. If he told me he was going to do what he said he was going to do, he told me he was going to do something 5 times. And he only made his word bond 1 out of them 5 times, or 2 out of those 5 times. It's highly likely that nigga not gonna make his word bond. Okay.
Well, at least you know. Out of 5 things he said, he only gonna do it 2 times. You can actually probably go by that math. Like I got a friend. Whenever he be like, "I'm coming through," he only shows up like 30% of the time. So every 10 times he say it, I see him like 3. So when I hear him say it, I don't really make moves or plan for him to show up. But I do know there's a small chance he might show. That's when I used to produce and do music. So I was like, yeah, you coming through.
So you don't have to be in your feelings. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to be like, man, I went all the way. I blocked out my schedule. I prepared for you to come,
none of that.
And you ain't even come.
Because he might not come.
Most of us are bitter because we didn't do the math.
Now, if 7 times he said he's coming, he ain't show up. That 8th time, I'm like, babe, he might show up this time. You know, and he didn't show up so many times. Now he might actually come through.
Yeah, but my whole thing is do the math. If he ain't show up 7 times, then it's highly likely. It's more highly likely that he's not gonna come that 8th time. So don't even waste your time. Most of the time, our bitterness and our resentment comes because we didn't do the math. Because we chose not to do the math or the science up the situation. So therefore now we're upset. And the whole time, the person's been showing you who they are. And when somebody shows you who they are, you have to believe them. I know it sounds cliche, but I see it every single day. I see it with people every single day. They always hoping and wishing. We're idealistic people. We as black people, we go for the ideal. We make decisions off best case scenario. We don't make decisions off the facts. We make decisions off best case scenarios and emotions and what we want to happen. Not necessarily what's happened the last 15 times I gave you a chance. So it's very, very, very important that we learn to use intelligence in order to protect ourselves. It's important that we be aware. If we're driving around in our vehicles and we got the music up so loud and we zoning out and we just jamming to the music, then we can't even see what's going on around us. We can't see if somebody's following us, if somebody's pulling up on side of us, trying to do something harmful to us. We need to be aware. I apologize, but I guess I can't apologize, but we have to be aware of the time that we are in. This is the time that we are in. And when you're in this time, you must redeem the time. You must use the time for your benefit, and you must approach the time with intelligence. So be aware of your surroundings. Put distance in between you and people. I know with social media and this social generation, everybody want to be all up under everybody and be all close. A lot of people, I back you up. I might give you a hug when I first greet you. And then after then, it's like, let's back up. Let's put some space in between us. Because I don't know your mental state until I'm able to read your energy. And then I'm able to say, okay, this is a good person. I'm comfortable with being in this particular situation. And I'm definitely not going to have an argument with somebody and be within hand's reach. Just not going to do it. You can call me scared if you want to. Scared person will take you out of here. For real, for real. So be clear, be cautious. This is not blaming anybody for any of the things that happen. This is not blaming what happened to the young lady in McDonald's. This is not saying that it's her fault. This is not saying anything. This is talking about moving forward, how we need to protect ourselves, and we need to be mindful. One of the things that I love, whether you believe in the Nation of Islam or not, whether you believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan or not, the guidelines that have been set up for the MGT and the FOI about how to conduct yourselves when you're out in public, when you are together, and when you're around other people is a science. And it is damn near a foolproof science if you follow it correctly.
That's right.
It is damn near a foolproof science if you follow it correctly. And you don't have to be in the mosque to follow that information. You don't have to. If you choose to, great. I love my brothers and sisters in the mosque. I was once in the mosque. I'm a registered member of the Nation of Islam. So is CK. I'm just inactive. We're just inactive. But to the science that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us, you got to think about the science that he gave us during the time that he gave us. He gave it during a time where there was extreme racism. Racism was overt. So he was teaching black people how to protect themselves in that case of racism. For a period of time, it may have became outdated as everybody relaxed and people wasn't so overt with their racism. we're back to that old version, that overt racism where they just don't care. That type of racism, you need an extreme training. And yes, the training is extreme because yes, you're not supposed to go nowhere as a woman alone. And especially if you're a single woman and a single mother, you have to go out. You go out in the day. You don't go out in the night. When the sun is down, you stay your ass in the house. It can wait till tomorrow.
Tell a story about what you just read.
Oh yeah, there was a young lady who in Texas, there was a young girl, her daughter was killed. They were shot while going to Walmart, and it was early in the AM, 6 something, right before 7 a.m. They was going to get some coffee, and it was her and her 4 girls in the car, and a white man just pulled up, what they believe, allegedly, a white man pulled up in a pickup truck and shot into the car and killed her daughter. And shot her in the arm. And, you know, very, very sad situation. However, with that training from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, during those time periods, that's not to say that something won't happen to you in a day. That's not what I'm saying. But most evil and wickedness happen at night. This is why it's called darkness. Is when the evening settles. You know, when the mind starts to think of, if I want to get away with something, I can get away with it because it's dark. That's why most people party and go to clubs and drink at night in the dark. Most people have sexual affairs and encounters in the dark. Everything is about darkness when you want to do wrong. And so one of the trainings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, if the sun is not up, then you don't go outside. If at all possible, you travel with the male. And there's certain driving techniques, and CK actually uses this driving techniques when we drive. Never ever pull up window to window with anybody. I don't care.
And don't let them pull up
Don't
window to window.
And don't let them pull up window to you. If they pull up window to you, you move up a little bit.
You scoot up.
You scoot up. And you just keep scooting up. Leave enough distance in between you and the driver ahead of you so that you can continue to scoot up. Don't worry about nobody honking their horn.
Tupac was murdered but one of the things that happened was the other driver pulled up window to window and opened fire. So you
a lot of people who was murdered in their vehicles, it's because the driver pulled up window to window. When you're driving with multiple people, you use motorcade. There's so many different things that you can do. Do not ever pull up window to somebody. That's just one tip that you can have to save yourself. Do not go out after the sun go down, especially not after 10, and men are not supposed to be out after 12 midnight, because then when black men are out after midnight, police and racist folks assume that you're out there and you're up to no good. And so it leaves you as a sitting duck or as a victim to some sort of violence. So
never be a victim.
Never be a victim to violence. So just be cautious. Be aware of your surroundings. This is not being hyper vigilant because you don't want your root chakra overactive, because what happens is it travels to the third eye and then it becomes paranoia, and then you can't function and the body begins to shut down because it starts to internalize into anxiety and you start to stimulate your trauma. We're not talking about none of that. We're talking about being sober, being vigilant. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, be sober, be vigilant, because your enemy walks around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And that's not no spiritual spooky devil, imaginary red devil with a pitchfork.
Yeah,
there's dark energy.
Just live a life of a high vibration and also protection. Put an edge, or whatever the word, edge of protection around you. So therefore, you don't have to worry. So
imagine white lights surrounding when you go out. Believe it or not, I think about that all the time. I imagine white lights surrounding me. I imagine white light around my children. My son was just away for a couple of weeks, I kept imagining white light around him. Just these are just things that I do that I don't even tell anybody about. I don't even tell CK about. Sometimes when we're riding in the car and I feel like CK is being dangerous in his driving, I imagine white light just enveloping our vehicle and just protection, just clouds and clouds of protection. These are things that you can do. It doesn't increase your anxiety. It actually makes your root chakra feel more stable, and it makes you feel more grounded.
Yeah, it helps.
It helps.
And we don't want y'all to be scared. We want y'all to be just do things that help move with,
because if you be fearful, your thoughts have so much power that you can bring things into reality just off your fear. So this is not a fear-based teaching. This is just an intelligence, being sober, being wise, and being awake. Everybody like stay woke, and they think it's because you wear Ankh and some crystals. Just be awake. You ain't woke because you vegan. You ain't woke because you got a couple of crystals in the house. You not woke because you done read a couple of books and you can break down the science of Africa. You woke because you are aware of your surroundings and you are practicing intelligence in your day-to-day living, and you're living and you're putting your life on a course of higher vibration. That's right. It. So stay up, people. Stay on them high vibrations. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Black Love. Hit like, subscribe, share this video, and comment.
And we really do appreciate y'all. And we're sending out positive energy, positive vibrations. And as always, peace, peace.
And if you're in Columbia, South Carolina, come through. I'm trying to see how I can flip the camera around. Oh, yeah, if you're in Columbia, South Carolina, come through because we lit. Woo! Wait, look at them people. They lit. Because every day we lit. Love y'all. Peace, peace.